Welcome back now to our next conversation. Analysis of the first quarter 2022 GDP revealed that the real estate sector sustained the upbeat mood in the last 5 quarters as it started the year 2022 positive, recording a 4.44% GDP growth in first quarter of 2022 and the highest growth since the fourth quarter of 2014. Well, rising inflation and tightening interest rates do impact the real estate sector. Let's talk to a good friend now, Bosun Babajide Okusaga, real estate expert, right there, joining us from Lekki. Good morning. Great to have you. Looking at this Q1 data, how would you rate the performance of the construction sector? Despite the extremely low, purchasing power of Nigerian consumers, investment in real estate continue to grow.
We have been on this program and I've speak about real estate. What drives real estate is not only profit. There are a lot of other things that drive real estate, especially when other things are not working in Nigeria. For example, pride, popularity, and parent. As a young man, when you grow up, the first your parents will be telling you after your marriage is that when I go, you get your own house. So no matter what is happening in the economy, an average Nigerian will still want to get his own house. And don't forget that Nigeria, one of the essential things in life is shelter, apart from water and clothing. So people will still have to sleep somewhere and put their family somewhere. And don't forget also, lastly, that people always make sure they have their own house so that when they are hungry, people don't know. So these informal things are the things that are driving the real estate sector going up. And there's a lot of money that comes from the informal sector. One of the ways to measure the informal sector is how the increment and the appreciation of real estate. But most of these informal people in this one sector mostly invest in real estate. Majority of them are in dead assets, but they invest in real estate. So what drives real estate is not only for profit, but also for pride and popularity, and for parents to make sure that you are. So people keep on acquiring real estate for that reasons, and real estate is also, with this rise inflation, which is around 16.3 or 83 now. One of the best places you can hedge yourself against inflation is real estate. People have talked about gold, people have talked about the capital market. Gold hedge against inflation for a longer period, maybe centuries. Even when we talk about the capital market, Nigeria capital market is not complete. We don't have a proper derivative market. Today that the NGX said they're going to start the derivative market. As second quarter, third quarter, we are believing that.
Yeah, we're still looking out for that one.
So that we will not be investing and hedging against a risk in capital market. We pray about with the real estate market in Nigeria, the capital gain is fantastic. People need to stay somewhere. So rental income is consistent. So that's why you see that there's always increase.
There's still action in that sector. Well, but the war in Ukraine seems to be affecting, everything. There are indications that, this conflict could affect a global real estate market. Is Nigeria insulated from this?
You see, I think the Ukraine-Russia war is overhyped. And I think we are getting affected by the international media because a lot of us are watching too many series. But something that is affecting our real estate market, particularly to Nigeria, but nobody is doing anything about it. Nobody even knows. People are not recognizing. You see, the same thing, what's happening in Ukraine is what is happening with Yemen, with UAE and Saudi bombing them. People find alternative. That's something that's happening with Israel and Palestine. People will find an alternative. But there's one, and that's a topic for another day, another topic entirely. But what's affecting us is that a lot of young people, first home buyers, that same closing cost that they have used as down payment for their real estate and to get mortgage, are using that down payment to travel abroad. So there's a lot of relocation happening, massive relocation of young people in between 25 and 40. These are the first home buyers. These are the people that really take mortgage. They've been working for a while, so they build years of experience and they're thinking, let me leverage on my cash flow. But these people are borrowing money for the purpose of relocating. Now, a lot of companies have declared their competitors, not other companies, but other countries that are taking their staff. So this really caused a reduction in acquisition of real estate. So first home buyers, so now the industry are left for investors or second time, third time home buyers that know that there's return, and also insurance investors. But these people come in and they make real estate affordable. For most of them, what they'll be buying, they may not be able to stay in it, but they want to acquire real estate. Don't forget the parent effect that I mentioned earlier. So this market, this is peculiar to Nigeria, and these young guys are moving on a massive scale. So now our first home buyers within the age of 25 and 40 have dropped as high as 65 to 70%. That is the real thing that is affecting us that we should bother about, not Ukraine war or any war that is happening in Afghanistan or in Yemen. That is our own war. A lot of young guys are relocating and using the same down payment to travel abroad. But this process is now becoming expensive, and they are really investing in it. So that is what we should do more research on and bother and try and see how can we reverse that.
Well, that's quite a big investment, I must say. But right now, with rising global inflation and, central bankers looking to tighten lending rates, I'm wondering how you builders are going to manage with rising rates at this point.
The inflation does not always affect real estate that much, because that was make people invest in real estate. So if you look at the GDP, if you look at when the GDP was even in negative, the real estate sector had a steady rise, followed also closely by the construction, because most of this money comes from the informal sector. If you go to the Lekki area of Lagos now, because of the potential of the Lekki Free Trade Zone and Dangote Refinery, there's a lot of building coming up, and these are not from insurance investors. These are coming from the informal sector. The same guys that I do not are traders are now turned to developers, and they are building massively. But there's no infrastructure to support this thing. Those are the things that we should bother about. You see now, going on the Lekki axis, there's a lot of buildings springing up. Don't forget that same thing that happened in Apapa because of the ports. A lot of building went there, a lot of people went there to build, it became luxury, but now it's become the nightmare because it's only one road in and one road out. Separately, the Fort William Bridge has been affected and had a lot of setback. So with the massive development going on in that area, infrastructure is not following it. President Buhari has done a lot of things in the Ogun State corridor and saying that he will build a road on tax credit. Yes, fine. And what Dakwa has done with Obafemi Awodiyi local government and the express road is helping. But the problem is not about inflation for real estate. It may affect other areas. But the problem is that we should get infrastructure and we should work on our effects. Majority of what we're using to construct are imported. So this is what will affect the real estate industry. If we can have a stable FX market, whereby, for example, we start the building with the exchange rate of 300, 350, 400. By the time we are completing the building in 18 months, we are talking about around 600, 620, 605. How do you bargain
about 100% increase
now,
there.
So how do you hedge against those FX risks?
Right. Well, that FX is a major issue when it comes to building. But I saw a report recently highlighted that commercial office development pipeline remains active with about 63% of projects under construction. But despite these additions to the Lagos office market, there are still high vacancy rates, estimated about 12 to 36% in grade A and B offices. What does this tell us?
Okay. Let me quickly give you a background. You see, everywhere in Nigeria, really, land always appreciates, everywhere. But you see, because of land grabbers. For example, in 2017, the first 9 months, they have over 1,200 cases in Nigerian court against land grabbers. So that majorly underscore land as an investment instrument. Now, so most of the investments are in developed properties. And most of them happen in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. And that constitutes like almost 65% of the investment in developed properties. And most of them are strictly residential. But some few years ago, some people came up with different ideas about commercial real estate and this. I've always told people, what drives real estate investment in Nigeria is residential, and even most part of the world. Single home residential investment will always drive real estate. And that's why if you look at the latest report of Northcote, they were saying that people are doing grade A offices going for grade B plus, and even residential converted to offices. If you look at the trend, look at the Lagos Island businesses, all those areas are empty. What's happening to them? We can see that steady rise of offices moving to Victoria Island, make the commercial business treaty. That's simply happening to Lekki Phase 1. It's almost 50-50 commercial real estate, if not more than that. So this is what always drive real estate. So I always tell people, yes, commercial investment is good, but there will always be vacancy. Especially with the working from home now, what is really driving the commercial area is much more of the industrial, whereby people are looking for warehouses and distribution points because of e-commerce. But these days, a lot of people are working from home, flexible working hours, policies is not making the need for commercial office space. Now there are a lot of virtual offices that are in place. So people are not investing in that. So for startups and for even existing business. So you see more vacancies. But because these people that invested are institutional investors and they are very few, and they are willing to pull out now. So a lot of Nigerian businesses are buying them over, taking position, because I believe it has the potential. But if I go with your pen advice, always stick in Nigeria. Stick to your residential development. Residential development drives commercial, which is not like that in other part of the world. A commercial comes in, there's a commercial activity, they now drive the residential. But because government does not invest in infrastructure, a lot of roads in Osaka Agugi were done by individual developers. So you see that these residential developers are the ones that do the infrastructure, then commercial activity comes in there.
Quite interesting. And, talking about residential now, as vacancy rates remain high, attracting and retaining tenants will remain a key priority, to landlords, because incomes are being squeezed, at this point. What are the options, available here to keep your house actually tenanted and keep that money rolling in?
There are two feedback you get from an armchair analyst and for people like us that are on the field, feet on the ground. So on the surface, it looks like vacancy, but not really. It's what they call housing mismatch. People are building what people are not looking for. People are building area people are not interested in renting. And also the political and economic financial crime scrutiny has also affected some areas. So where you see there will be houses and occupation has reduced, and there's a lot of scrutiny in where your funds are coming from. So it's more like a mismatch. And also, lastly, the increase. That's where the Ukraine war comes in. The increase in diesel price, which is caused by the increase in the cost of crude in the international market. I think a lot of facility managers are going through hell right now, making sure that they are profitable and their occupants are comfortable. So the first thing is their kind of properties people are looking for. More people are trying to, as I told you, a lot of young men are traveling, so they're looking at the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, thereabouts. Also, people are looking to buy land or residential building in gated community, because of security, and that is what's also driving the Abuja market right now, because they
Right.
can see that it's structured and it's safe.
Okay. All right. So much to unpack there, Babajide Okusaga, real estate expert. But we'll keep tracking that market, to see how it grows. We had a report recently that that sector is used for a lot of money laundering. But yeah, that's a story for another day. But thank you so much for coming on the program, Babajide Okusaga, real estate expert. It was great having you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right.